Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. And the premise of today's show, the inspiration for today's show came from one of my own tweets on Saturday. Early on in the game, Jaquez Yant had a big run, okay? And I put out on Twitter, because I'd been waiting. I was in that football facility, that office last spring. I know for a fact there's people in that football building that really, really like him. They looked me in the eye and they said, Adam, he could potentially start for us come the fall. Now, it wasn't Jaquez. It was true freshman Gabe Ervin. In fact, Jaquez was getting very little carries or playtime. You weren't seeing much of him. Okay? So how does he go from an individual they think so highly of, he could potentially start, to he's barely getting playtime and reps? So I put out, after that big run, on Saturday, a tweet and a post on Facebook, and I just simply said, why is it taking so long to get Jaquez Yant the ball? Now, I want to come back to that at the end of the show. That was the inspiration for this show. But let's chat about a few things real quick before we get to Mr. Yant. Now, Nebraska only threw the ball 21 times versus Northwestern on Saturday. They rushed the ball 53 times. That means we ran the ball 72% of the time. A lot of option in there as well. A lot of receivers going in motion, got the triple option. All of a sudden they go in motion, boom, plant, cut back the other way. Now you think the option's going one way because of the motion. Now it goes the other way. Now all of a sudden, and they only did it about once. And I talked about this in my gut reaction and my Facebook Live Carriker show on Sunday night, where they faked the option, did a deep pass. Now, they didn't show that a lot, nor should they. But I think it's something. Not only is the option going to give teams problem going right, left, where's it going, but now we got to defend the field vertically, because all of a sudden it's a fake option with deep passes. They even had a quadruple option. Again, they didn't show it a lot, and they actually didn't use it. But you got the receiver going in motion. You got the quarterback reading the running back option part, number one. Number two is the quarterback keeping it or pitching. That's 2 and 3. Number 4, the receiver. If that corner's getting too aggressive, coming down on the option, boom, that receiver turns around. You can throw it to him real quick. It's a quadruple option that they did at Oregon as well as UCF. They haven't showed it a lot. Again, they don't need to. I'm curious to see how much we see of it versus them Wolverines from Michigan. All right, now we ran the ball for 427 rush yards. Northwestern only ran the ball for 37 yards. That's a team that came into the game averaging over 200 yards rushing per contest. Okay, they only had 1.4 yards per carry on Saturday versus the Black Shirts, whereas Nebraska averaged 8.1 yards per carry at one point. In the third quarter, they put up a graphic on the TV. In the third quarter, Nebraska had 324 rush yards. Northwestern only had 2. All right, now Northwestern's defense admittedly has struggled this year. All right, they gave up over 400 yards of offense to Duke in the first half of their game alone, just in the first half alone. All right, and I spoke about this as well. Northwestern didn't blitz a ton on Saturday. I do believe, and I'll repeat this again, it was because they were afraid of Martinez running around and breaking wide open plays on broken play on one, if you watch my previous shows. Okay, so they wanted to keep him in front of him. So that was their choice, and we took advantage of it. Now, the 657 total yards of offense that Nebraska had Saturday is the most ever given up by a Pat Fitzgerald coach Northwestern defense. He became the coach in 2006. By the way, that was my senior year, 2006, and that was 15 years ago. Every time I turn around, I'm getting older. I don't like it. But anyways, 15 years ago, 2006. It wasn't that long ago, was it? Anyways, 15 years ago, 2006, that's when Pat Fitzgerald became the coach of Northwestern. That's the most amount of yards one of his defenses has ever given up in a decade and a half of his tenure at Northwestern. Now, Michigan's going to be a much tougher beast. Let's just be honest. I was going to say competition, but they're a bit of a beast. They're physical on offense. They're physical on defense. They're physical across the board. That's what Jim Harbaugh coach teams are. Go back and watch his teams with the 49ers. I played against them. They were physical. Watch them at Stanford. They didn't out-talent people that hit you in the mouth. Now, Michigan's defense is third in the Big Ten, only giving up 12.8 points per game. All right, they do give up more rush yards than I thought they would. They're sixth in the Big Ten, giving up 114 rush yards per game, but they've only given up 1 rushing touchdown all year. They get inside that red zone and they stiffen up. Okay, they give up 3.3 yards per carry, but inside that red zone, they've only given up 1 rushing touchdown all year. Now, let's get back to Jaquez Yant. He was the leading rusher on Saturday. First time he's gotten the most amount of carries in a game. It's the first time he's really gotten this big-time opportunity. At 13 carries, 127 yards, averaged 9.8 yards per carry. So why? Why is it taking so long for him to get the rock more? Scott Frost had a great answer. You know what? He came into camp 25 pounds overweight in the fall. From the spring to the fall, he put on 25 pounds. He was 25 pounds overweight. He said, hey, he's a much better rusher at 232 pounds than 258, which makes a lot of sense. My question is, because you work with the strength and conditioning staff all summer, how did they let him put on that weight? I don't get that. They've done a great job with the defense and the defensive line, the strength and conditioning staff, but how did that happen with Jaquez Yant over the summer? I'd like a follow-up question on that. But you've also got to be able to protect the quarterback. He's got to continue to improve on that. That's a part of playing the running back position as well. But now it's time. It's time to get that man the rock. I don't care if it's a running back. I don't care if you put him at fullback, run a little triple option out of that. He's at the appropriate weight, and he's like a big DN with speed running the ball. Go Big Red Nose, remember. Throw the bones. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.